So here's the thing. Foldable phones are everywhere right now. And yeah, a foldable iPhone Fold could be next. That alone might shake the entire category. But there's something deeper here, something most people aren't really thinking about yet. I've been stuck on one idea lately. The concept of a Google Pixel and the concept of a foldable phone, they don't naturally fit together. And weirdly enough, that might actually be okay. Because if you look at what a Pixel really is, it's never been about raw power. It's not the best chip, not the craziest display. It's about smart software, useful features, and giving everyday users something that just works, and often at a solid price. Now compare that to foldables. These things are the opposite. Premium builds, cutting-edge hardware, and a price that can easily hit $2,000. They're made for people who want everything, not just simplicity. So when you combine those two ideas, something feels off. They almost clash. But that didn't stop Google from going all in and building a nearly $2,000 folding Pixel. And after using it, the experience raises some interesting questions. The first thing you notice compared to the last Pixel Fold? The hinge. Completely redesigned. Smaller, smoother, and now gearless. It's not just about how it looks, it actually changes how the phone feels every time you open it. And that new hinge creates space for something even more noticeable, the displays. The outer screen is now 6.4 inches and brighter than before, hitting that 3000 nits range that looks great in almost any lighting. Open it up, and the inner 8-inch display also gets brighter. But not everything changed. The crease is still there. The bezels are still noticeable. It's one of those things you feel instantly, but slowly learn to ignore over time.
Then there's something surprisingly useful, PixelSnap. Thanks to built-in magnets and Qi 2 wireless charging, it snaps onto MagSafe style accessories without any effort. Chargers, mounts, docks, it just works. Even with the added weight of a foldable, it holds steady on things like car mounts, which honestly wasn't guaranteed. It's one of those small features that quietly becomes part of your daily routine. There are also minor tweaks, like the SIM tray moving to the top and storage going all the way up to 1 terabyte. But under the hood, things get a bit more complicated with the Tensor G5 chip. Performance-wise, it's not leading the pack, not even close. But paired with 16 gigabytes RAM, it handles everyday tasks smoothly. Where it surprised me, though, was battery life. Using it closed most of the time feels like using a slightly thicker regular phone, and with a 5015 mAh battery, getting around 6 hours of screen-on time daily wasn't a problem at all. Of course, once you unfold it, battery drains faster. That's expected. But overall, efficiency is actually one of its stronger points, which isn't something you'd normally expect here. And here's something big. It's the first foldable to hit full IP68 water and dust resistance. That's a direct result of the hinge redesign, and it quietly fixes one of the biggest concerns people had with foldables. In daily use, when it's closed, it feels like a Pixel. Clean Android, smooth animations, smart features, it's familiar. But the moment you open it, something changes.
You start doing more. Multitasking, planning, organizing. It pushes you into using your phone differently. Not because it forces you, but because suddenly you can. But here's where reality kicks in. This still isn't a hardware leader. It's heavier, thicker, and compared to newer ultra-thin foldables, you feel that difference immediately, especially when using it closed most of the time. And then there's the cameras. They're good, almost flagship level, but still just a step behind. Slightly less detail, weaker low light, and honestly, the selfie cameras are just not impressive. Even the chip, while efficient, doesn't compete with something like the Snapdragon 8 Elite. And at this price, that starts to matter more than ever. Because when you're spending this much, expectations change. You don't just want a good phone, you want the best. And while this gets a lot right, it's clearly not maxing out everything. So here's the simplest way to look at it. On its own, this is a really good phone. But once you start comparing it to everything else pushing boundaries, the differences become impossible to ignore. And that's where things get interesting, because the real question isn't whether this phone is good, it's whether it's enough for what people expect now.